Hey everybody, I'm Sean Duhamel from the Mass Retirees Association. Today's Friday, December 11th. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining with us again this week and engaging in our weekly conversation to keep you updated on all of the things that are most important to you as a public retiree or as a public employee if you are an active employee tuning in as well. Thank you so much for being with us. Before I jump into the details of what we're working on this week, let me remind our members that today, December 11th at 1 p.m., we are hosting our final telephone town hall meeting of the year. If you are a Mass Retirees member, I encourage you to join with us and participate in today's meeting. I hope that turnout is going to be as robust as it's been for other meetings where we've had thousands of members participate. The details of how to participate are contained in your newsletter. So all of you by now should have received your January edition of The Voice. Chock full of very important information. Inside here on page 3 is the Tele-Town Hall schedule for the first quarter of 2021, but it also has information of how you can participate. We have a toll-free number that our members can call that will automatically connect you to the meeting at 1 o'clock this afternoon. The other way you can participate is simply by receiving the automated phone call that comes in from me at 1, and you just simply answer the phone and you'll be automatically connected to the meeting. Now, I anticipate the meeting running for roughly an hour. And the purpose of today's event is sort of a wrap-up of all of the happenings and the news of the past year, let you know what's happening with the budget and the COLA, what's happening with the windfall elimination provision, all of our legislative proposals, as well as state and local health insurance benefits. We're also going to give some idea of what we are anticipating happening in the coming year, particularly in the first half of 2021, when we're still trying to fight our way through this COVID-19 pandemic, get the economy going again. We're going to be playing probably more defense in the coming months than we will be playing offense. That's just the matter of what we're facing right now, unfortunately. But we're going to talk about all those things this afternoon. So if you are free, please join with us. Now, one of the things I want to mention for those of you who cannot join with us today is just to give you a little bit of an update of where things are at with the windfall elimination provision, the so-called WEP law, and what we're trying to do right now to pass a reform of that law. Now, you know that for months the focus has been passing reform in 2020, and we have been working very closely with Congressman Richard Neal to do just that, and to pass his legislation, H.R. 4540. Well, as of today, H.R. 4540 has 152 co-sponsors. And the plan, or the hope, has been to take the language of the proposal that is H.R. 4540 and attach that to one of the must-pass pieces of legislation that Congress is working on right now. Well, while the window of opportunity is still cracked open, we're very fearful that it's going to be increasingly difficult for us to do that. We're doing all we can, we're hopeful, but it's going to be a long shot. Between the pandemic and the extreme partisanship right now that's gripping the country, it's becoming harder and harder to thread the needle and compromise and pass legislation. Very few bills have actually passed through Congress this year. And the key to this is not just passing a bill through the House of Representatives, because Congressman Neal most likely could do that, but that doesn't do us any good if we pass a bill through the House for it only to die in the Senate. And the Republicans control the Senate, of course, the Democrats control the House, and it involves a great deal of negotiation and horse trading back and forth to really get anything done. And we're running out of time. The congressional session expires at the end of this year. But all that being said, we are pulling out all of the stops to try to get this done. The sooner the better. We've been fighting over this now and trying for 37 years, and we're well past the time when you'd think that this would be possible. Worst case scenario is we're going to refile this legislation with Congressman Neal into the new session. And we're not going to stop until we're successful of being able to finally deliver relief. And one of the ways we're doing that is working with our friends in other states. Now, going back to our newsletter, if you've looked at the newsletter, if you've read it, and I hope you have, we put a lot of work and time into this, every edition of this newsletter. But you hopefully have seen a opinion piece written by our good friend and my colleague and my counterpart down in Texas, Tim Lee. Tim is the executive director of the Texas Retired Teachers. Great guy, very, very strong advocate on behalf of public retirees, and not just his folks in Texas, but all public retirees. His approach to this is the same as Ralph White's or Frank Valeri's or mine, that we're in this for everybody. When we're all in this together, because none of us can solve these problems alone. It takes us working together. And Tim has a message to you saying just that. He is grateful for our support. We're not in this alone. He represents over 100,000 Texas retired teachers across the country. There are nearly 2 million public retirees impacted by WEP. Here in Massachusetts, we have 74,000 Massachusetts residents who are impacted by WEP. Now, Tim also gets into just how deeply impacted his members are in terms of their income in retirement because of WEP. Now, down in Texas, they don't receive regular cost of living increases like you do. And Tim talks about that. He has some of his members, some of his retired teachers, have not received 1 penny in COLA benefits in 15 years. Can you imagine going 15 years with not a 1 red cent of an increase in your COLA? Well, that's what some of his members are facing. And it's a very awful situation. This entire law is very unfair. It's an awful law. And we're not going to stop until we provide some relief to our members. And we're going to do so by working together. And I know this is frustrating. I know that it is a great source of anger for our members, and you should be angry because something's been taken from you that you earned and you paid for, and right now you need as a retiree. And we're going to continue to make this one of our very, very top priorities. Now, this does not take away from the other things that we're working on, because I get that question sometimes from members saying, hey, Sean, why don't you just give up on this and focus on the COLA? They're two completely different things. The COLA is a state issue. WEP is a federal issue. We can work on both. We can chew gum and walk at the same time. They're both very important issues, along with a whole other bunch of stuff that we're working on. But my message to you is we're going to get this done. I just hope it's sooner rather than later. But I want to thank you for all of the work that you have been putting into this, because we would not be in the position that we're in being so close as we are to resolving this if it wasn't for all of you and all of the support and the dedication and the work that you have put into this over the years. So before I close out today, the last thing I want to mention is that we are very concerned about the growth of COVID-19 here in Massachusetts and around the country. Now that we're heading into the winter months and people are coming back indoors, you see the news, you hear the numbers. Well, those concerns are real. Here in Massachusetts, just over the last few weeks, we have seen a dramatic increase in the number of not only people who have contracted COVID-19, but more dangerously, the number of people required to be hospitalized and put in the ICU because of COVID-19. And the hospitals here in Massachusetts are growing increasingly concerned about their ability going forward to be able to handle the demand that's being placed on them. Now, because of all of this, we have decided here at Mass Retirees to return to more or less a virtual office. As you can see, I'm working from home. I'm in my home office. We're taking turns going into the physical office on Beacon Hill. There's someone there every day, but we're being very careful not to overlap each other's bubbles or put one another at any kind of risk. And it's really out of an abundance of caution that we do not want to risk any of our team members getting sick. We also do not want to risk any of you getting sick. Now, representing retirees, we know that our members are in the higher risk groups. It's just the nature of the beast. But it also means that our members are at the front of the list or near the front of the list in terms of getting access to these vaccines as they become available. Now, we have been part of discussions over the last several months of monitoring what's going on. Frank and I serve on a couple of different boards that we have been briefed by Blue Cross and other entities in terms of what's going on and how they're viewing things. And we're very, very hopeful that there is light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to COVID-19 and getting through this pandemic. But we've got to remain safe. We have to protect one another, keep each other safe, practice, the social distancing and wear the mask and those sorts of things when we're out in public. And we're going to do our part here at Mass Retirees to keep you informed to keep you up to date with factual, accurate information of when these vaccines are going to be available, how you can go about accessing them. We have reached out to the Baker administration and volunteered to be a resource for them and to help them get the word out, because the sooner we can move past this and get all of our members protected and vaccinated, the sooner things can return to normal. The sooner that the economy can come back, the sooner we can have area meetings again. I can't tell you how much we are looking forward to being able to meet with you in person again, shake your hand, give you a hug, just be able to look each other in the eye and have a safe conversation without worrying about someone getting sick because of this darn virus. So with that, I'm going to sign off for today. I hope you are available to join us later this afternoon for our conversation. But otherwise, we'll be back to you again next Friday with the latest update. Thank you so much.